Hey guys, today I'm going to be giving you tips on how to fish smaller ponds that are about 1 or 2 acres big, maybe 3 or 4 at the most. So I'm fishing on just a small farm pond today. Gets pretty heavy fishing because it's on a campground sort of, so the people from the campground always come to fish at it. So I'll just give you a few tips on what I usually throw and what to avoid. So usually on smaller ponds like this, you can work it, it's a small area, so you can work it over pretty good. So go finesse always, or not always, but most of the time I go finesse. And today I'm going to be throwing a jig. It's in sunfish colorish, so I'll probably swim this a little bit, throw it in some beds. There's some bed fish I've seen. So try some finesse styled worms, anything, just crawl it across the bottom, work over the area pretty good. Try and pick off some of those big fish that are in here. Stuff you want to avoid is pretty basic, just unless the conditions are really good for it, try to avoid like spinner baits or reaction style baits in these small ponds. The fish, if it's a heavy pressured pond, because the fish tend to see those a lot, try to avoid the Senko. It's probably a good choice on most smaller ponds that don't have a lot of heavy fishing cover, but this pond that I'm fishing today probably gets fished, a bunch with the Senko. I mean, I've seen a bunch of them in the water before, so I usually try to avoid those. So go small with your lures. This is a 1/4 ounce jig. I'm going to be using an 1/8 ounce jig too. Don't choose anything huge. The fish aren't big in these ponds. There might be 1 or 2, 4 or 5 pounders in here, but there's not going to be, a ton of big fish. Most of the fish you're going to catch in these ponds are probably going to be 1 to 2 pounds, something in between there. So go smaller with your choice. The fish don't see that as much when it comes to lures, so hopefully you'll get more strikes. So another thing is try to avoid making a lot of noise when you walk off the spots and stay off the bank. These small ponds, if you go crashing up to the bank making a lot of noise with your feet and stuff, fish that are in that area are going to go swim somewhere else. It's a tiny pond, they swim all over the place. So just be quiet, try to go a little bit stealth. I mean, you can talk and stuff, just don't stomp your feet on the ground or anything. And look for irregularities in the water, some lily pads or just some grass that sticks up, a rock or two. Usually fish will stick to that in these smaller ponds. So that's pretty much it. If I think of anything, try to tell you as I go throughout the day fishing. Hopefully I catch some fish. I saw like a 4 or 5 pounder, but it looked like it's been hooked. It's sitting on a bed, so maybe I'll catch him. I doubt it though. Just got this little one. Swim in a jig. All-terrain jig. Caught another small one, swim in the jig. Maybe a 1 pounder. Another little guy. Saw him. He's on a bed. Swim in a jig. Oh. Eat up right there. think that's it. Caught up in some weeds. Alright. There he is. So, what I did again was I threw my jig into his bed because he left. Then I walked back over here, turned on the camera, then shook it in his bed, and after a few seconds he bit on it. Just caught this, a 2.5, 3-pounder, probably a 3-pounder, right here, just on the jig. Nice little fish. Get a measurement on him.